Hi guys, Spike here. So in 2010, I had a lot of my music equipment stolen. I used to live in a place in Spalding called the Lighthouse Project, in one of their rooms at the time. After coming out of university, I'd just been diagnosed with I had a suspected diagnosis for my bipolar OCD. It was only until moving to Peterborough in 2009, after uni in 2008, that I got diagnosed. I'd moved from the Lighthouse Project to Peterborough in 2009, at the end of August, to be with my then girlfriend at the time, Charles. And during this time leading up to Christmas-ish, that my stuff was still at the Lighthouse Project. It was being kept with a guy called Phil, who I thought I could trust because he lived over the hallway from me, and he agreed to look after my bits for me until I could get back with some transport to move them to Peterborough. Cut to January and past the new year in 2010. I had two friends, Stu and James, stay with me one weekend. I think it was like the 15th of January, 15th, 16th, into the 17th. Just getting high and going and drinking and stuff. And I got told that evening by Stu that my stuff was being sold out of the Lighthouse Project, and that he was trying to recover the stuff that was being stolen. He made his way back, and James did, on the Sunday, back to Spalding once I stayed in Peterborough, very upset and incredibly angry. Again, bipolar kicked in, saw red and stuff. And I managed to arrange the Monday or the Tuesday, so the 18th or the 19th of January, to get a lift back with my mum at night time to go and surprise everyone, of who he told me, at the locations, to surprise them of my arrival by just turning up and slamming down on their door and demanding my shit back. And if not, I was going to do some serious harm to them. Well, I didn't recover very much that day. Most of my guitars sold in bits, broken down, never to be seen again. I had a Ibanez Gem copy, in white, that was made by Palmer, which I purchased on eBay and imported from Germany, from a German seller. Great guitar, played fantastically well. Modified it, it got battered for a few years, through college, then university. It recorded the Access Denied, before we became Sycamore, our EP, that helped to get us signed to Matchbox Recordings. And, through 2007, 2008, that was my main workhorse. Another guitar I bought within the same week, actually, through that last part of college, was a Warlock copy, again, by another German company, and they were called Keiper, Keiper. What was going on at the time on eBay were a lot of guitar houses or white label products were flooding the market, and people were re-engineering, refiguring headstock paddles to be their own, from reputable sources, and then just slapping their acetate logo across that before lacquering it up and sealing it. But basically they were white label guitar bodies, usually bolt-on bodies, obviously, that hadn't passed QC checks from various factories, that just get put into off-cut bins or recyclable bins, to be sold to the highest bidder. But obviously they're off-cuts, so they're pretty cheap, right? But these companies would get these pre-made necks, refigure a paddle, a blank paddle at the top, and then stick their logo on, and then bolt it onto the guitar and ship them out. And that's what this Palmer Gem custom job turned out to be, and it's what the Warlock ended up turning out to be. Like I say, they all got stolen with most of my equipment. I think at the time I only managed to recover my Ashton Viper tube head, my Laney 4x12 Extreme cab that was loaded with Rocket 50s by Celestion. That amp setup is integral to my sound, and my Where is she? Oh, she's not even in there anymore. She's over in that bag over there. My Court X6. That's an original Court X6 from that sort of time period. But yeah, following the theft, obviously I started investigating and trying to find out what happened to my gear, who was involved, etc. And I managed to find out who was involved, what happens to them, what they did to them, how much they sold the equipment for. But I never found out where any of the stuff went. So, cut to this weekend that's just gone, Friday. So, we're now in 2026, so we're talking 16 years later. 16 years and 2 months later, actually. And the lovely people, Uptown Vinyl, that resides in Baytree, in the local area, just down the road from Spalding, come into possession of some guitars from a storage unit of someone who's deceased, right? Very unfortunate. You know, they're not on this mortal coil anymore, so rest in peace, laddie. But yeah, this person seems to have come into the possession of a lot of equipment, a lot of guitars, right? Or been storing it for a while. So the guys there, Alan, was trading or buying some vinyl off this guy, because obviously he doesn't have any family, but they're friends with the guy who's deceased, so they're just you know, buying for their collection, etc. And gets offered all these guitars that the store then take and then price up. Cue to pictures going up on their Facebook, and lo and behold, it looks like they have my white Palmer gem custom clone copy, whatever you want to call it. So I start inquiring about it to find out the history of what they know about where it's come from, and this is as far as they know. Cue to today, me going down after giving them a lot of identifying marks off the guitar. And I now have my gem back. This sticker I put on the bugger back in the day. I used to have a love heart with Grace on it here. So I'm just gonna, there we go, that's better. I bent this strap pin with my little finger. I still have all of the plates for the locking nut, because they turned out to not even be mild steel that was plated. So the string gauges I used to use just ate through that. Funniest thing is though, this guitar hasn't been restrung since I strung it up, because this is how I used to string my guitar, this guitar in particular, up, so that I wouldn't have to bugger around with trimming too much off for the blocks here. Another funny point, all the marks I could identify, including the this thing isn't screwed right, and as always dug it inwards this way because it always used to fall over. The bloody thing's still got my pick holder on it. It's still missing the scratch plate. They've still got the hip shot trem setter in it that I put in it. It's still got my original strap, and the bloody thing came in my original bag from college, which I thought this would be one of the first things that goes. Funny thing is I've still got the bar for the Floyd Rose, and I think I've still got the missing switch, 5-way switch hat. Then I started to describe the other guitars that have gone missing. My Explorer with a bolt-on neck that I actually have the neck for, because I managed to recover that, along with a stand and some of the Behringer pedals I had. But then I described Warlock that went missing, and when I did, it didn't even have this priced up. This thing, again, you can tell that these companies were pretty similar in where they were getting the necks from, right? Or who was building the necks. But I bought this purely because of the body. I enjoyed the body. I also didn't like hardtail bridges at the time too much, until I had to wrestle obviously with the Floyd Rose. But yeah, I started describing the pickups, the EMG lookalike passive, the cream binding, but then the guitar, the Dragon on the top. This is a guitar that when I bought it, my mum really enjoyed the look of it, not just the shape, but more the design. But as soon as I mentioned this name, the 24 frets described it, including obviously the lower horn damage that every one of these gets, but how specific it was. to this guitar, right? And he's just like, come with me, and showed me this in the warehouse bin. So, and this, again, is also in this case, because these two cases, this was the last case that my mum bought me before I went to uni to house this guitar. And this is the case she bought me at college for one of my birthdays or for my Christmas to house any guitar I took to college. So yeah, 16 years later, I've managed to get back my two stolen guitars. Or two of my stolen guitars. I'm still missing my walnut finish Adam Black that I think I've seen, was it about 4 or 5 years ago on eBay, totally stripped of all hardware, all frets, etc. And I'm pretty sure that that thing was just a body and neck that got sold on eBay. No hardware, because I compared it to pictures. What was on eBay at the time and what my pictures of the guitar are, with me a bit around my neck basically playing it. So I'm pretty sure that one's gone. And then also the one of a kind that Adam Black gave me as part of my endorsement, that was the Orion Mark 1 with a few more tweaks closer to the Extreme Custom. So it was like a cross between the Custom and the Extreme of the Mark 1, but that had Floyd Rose, it had locking nut, it had the locking tuners as well. It had 2 volume knobs, 1 tone, and a micro switch with the three-way switch. The micro switch was for phase switching, and it had push-pull tone for coil tap. And that thing, I've only just found pictures of me with that thing that I can now start using to try and find it, because it's the only one of its kind in the world. All of these guitars being copies, clones, whatever, they all play great. However, they don't have serial numbers. So obviously they're very hard to track or to insure. But yeah, 16 years later, and they hadn't been that far out of the area. They've been sold to a local shop, and then someone's bought them, and then they've just not used them. They've put them into storage, or they've come into possession of them, and just never been able to sell them or whatever, because no one's been able to take them, because obviously they're brands that nobody knows. Because again, it was from a time period of eBay purchasing where this stuff was rife in the 2002 to 2007 or 8 sort of time period. Maybe up to 2010 or 11, I think, before they changed the seller's rules to not be able to sell knockoff equipment and guitars, imitations, etc. But yeah, I've managed to find and recover 2 of my stolen guitars, so I nearly am back at owning all of the equipment that I used to have back in the day, pre-theft. So super happy today, but it does mean that I haven't made the usual self-taught Japanese in Rosetta Stone 3 video. This is the reason why I've been recovering my stolen goods. So big shout out to Uptown Vinyl out at Baytree in Spalding, Alan and Graham specifically, because they listens to my messages about the Palmer, the white gem copy and clone, and recognised that that was my guitar, and then obviously in telling them the story of how that got stolen, and then referencing and describing the Warlock, they then gone, actually we've also got that too, so you might as well have that one back too. So big ups to them. I cannot thank them enough. Obviously they didn't know that any of this gear had been stolen at any point, but there we have it. I've got my guitars back from 16 years ago and nowhere to put them, which is an age-old problem, isn't it? It's just finding the space. So yeah, incredibly happy today, but it does mean that the content for today, this video is it at the moment. Incredibly happy. I need to tear these down and clean them the hell up, because they are ancient old. They've been in these bags in storage. I can't believe that this guitar's still got the same strings on it that I put on it all those years ago in 2009, I would assume, before it got stolen in 2010. So those strings are 16 years old. But yes, sentimental value for this bad boy, because it recorded my band's first EP that got us signed at the time. So I'm super happy, and fuck you, the people who stole it. I know who you are as well. One of you, we made amends back at the time, but you still could have told me the full story, rather than saving your own bacon. But right, it's not that I've forgiven you, but I will be friends and talk to you. It's just you won't be around any of my shit ever again. That's the only thing. But that's fine. We've got a mutual agreement about that sort of thing. The other two, though, you can go die. No offense, but you gave me a 10 to 11 year issue when it came to my career with music, not being able to see the light out of the darkness from how it affected me with my mental health at the time, and my then diagnosis that was incredibly fresh and new. And you really put paid to a large decade, a chunky decade of my life that was not pleasant at all. Mainly due to the implosion and following meltdown of not just discovering the diagnoses that I ended up having, but also the loss of what was essentially my career and my life at the time. That anyone who's a musician, as you probably know, you get quite attached to your guitars. They become extensions of your actual body. They're like losing a limb. If they disappear, that's why it's like, you know, they're like your children, basically. So to end up in this position so many years later, being able to recover this stuff and them in the original bags, things that you would think would disappear with them or be replaced over time. Yeah, no, I'm happy I've got them back. So props to Uptown Vinyl. Thank you very much for somehow coming into possession of these. To whoever the guy was who had these in storage, who purchased them, you know, it sucks that you're not here. I would like to have personally thanked you for essentially being part of the recovery process, without even knowing it, because who knows when they're dealing in stolen goods unless you're actually the one selling and buying the stolen goods, right? But yeah, absolute incredible turnaround. So for me, I'm taking this as a sign from the universe that karma is currently on my side and is positively affecting me in life. Therefore, I'm on the right path for what I'm doing, and it's rewarding me with finding ancient lost gear of mine that I thought I'd never see again. So yeah, I'm super stoked. I know it might not seem it, but I am super stoked and happy that I've now got two of my original guitars back prior to finishing college and then going to university. You know, nearly 20 years ago. So this means a great deal to me. I can't thank them enough. Cheers, Alan and Graham. You're the best. And I can't wait to clean these up and give them a razz and see just what it was. See if they are what I remember them when it comes to playing. So I know they're not in the best of conditions. This has started to turn cream. I need to do some serious cleanup work. I need to dig that piece out. I need to rework this, really. I need to put these bad boys back on. I've got replacements. I actually bought a replacement nut in silver for that. I need to find, it might be a mil or two wrong. And this one's probably more playable at the moment because it seems to be... again, I didn't really play this one much. This was bedroom and studio only. This was the workhorse. This was every gig. This was every recording I was doing. It was my mainstay workhorse until I got my Adam Black endorsement. So yeah, super chuffed that these two bad boys are back in their rightful owner's possession. Super chuffed. That's going to be all from me today. So my apologies for not putting out the usual self-taught Japanese and Rosetta Stone 3 video. It will have to come tomorrow because this was just too good to pass up, and then also not do a quick video on as to why I've not done the Japanese stream. Man's recovered stolen property from 16 years ago, 16, 17, yeah, nearly 20 years ago, I need to figure out what to do with it before my little girl comes home from school. So, or before I go get her in a bit. I need to wrap my head around the logistics of this. But yeah, absolutely incredible. I'm glad they come back to me. Karma does work. So yeah, that's gonna be it from me. Self-taught Japanese in Rosetta Stone 3 will continue tomorrow. As always, like, follow, share and subscribe my channels, youtube.com/xofficina, twitch.tv/xofficina, and go check out the content and the wares on there. Go check out the series if you're following the series. Much love and appreciation to everyone who follows and who enjoys the content. And yeah, I think that's going to be it for me. So thanks for watching. As always, stay safe, keep sane. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.